This is the story. The story of a Czech composer who came to America and taught us how to appreciate our own music. This is the story of
Antonin Dvorak, a Czech ear for American music. Yes, you know it. It's the Largo from the New World Symphony, today as much a part of your musical heritage as Swanee River. The story we propose to tell you is how it came to be written, and how, through its writing, you, America, at last awoke to the realization that you had a music that was all your own, music born of yourself and worthy of being taken to your heart and into your home. This is the story of one man, a man who brought from the old world a musical ear tuned to the new, a simple, family-loving man named Antonin Dvorak. As an overture, here are some random notes from the human symphony that was Dvorak. In a tiny bohemian hamlet nestling amidst farmyards and orchards in a fruitful valley north of Prague, disturbed only by the song of children at play, an ox cart or two, and a few meditating geese, there stands a red-roofed village inn. Momentarily, the villagers in the tap room are hushed. Suddenly,
it's a boy, Franz.
A child is born on the birthday of the Virgin in 1841. And around the proud father crowd the congratulating neighbors.
We drink a toast, Franz. A toast to...
Antonin. I shall call him Antonin.
To Antonin Dvorak, then. Our next innkeeper and butcher.
I, Joseph Spitz, organist and choir master of the village. I taught him to play the violin. And none of us thought he would become a musician. For in our little community, that much musicality was as native as the air we breathe.
I was his Uncle Zdenek. I gave him the money that took him out of the butcher shop when he refused to learn the trade and sent him away to music school in Prague.
My name is Brahms. I helped judge him the winner of the Austrian State Prize. This made it possible for him to continue his studies, to write his opera, symphonies, quartets, piano pieces. I was so impressed, I wrote my publisher urging him to publish Dvorak because he was a very talented man, as well as a very poor one.
He was an odd one, this Dvorak, even after he became famous. I know because I courted his daughter. He was afraid of thunderstorms and played the piano as loud as he could to drown them out. He loved window shopping, pigeons, and locomotives. He would desert his classes to see a train leave the station. One time he sent me to get the number of a particular locomotive, and when I came back with the number of the coal tender, I have no understanding for railways, he said to his daughter, "So that's the kind of man you want to marry."
I was his pupil in Prague. He refused to teach untalented students. He would say, "It hurts you now, but later it will save you much suffering." Once he shouted at me, "This composition is miserable stuff. You're a donkey." I picked up my coat and left the classroom. But he ran after me. "Come back," he said. "You are not a donkey." And quietly I returned. For no matter what he said or did, we all worshipped him.
So much, then, for our overture. Now that we may begin to trace for you this man's effect upon the music we Americans sing today, we give you Anton Dvorak in the year 1891, at the age of 50, one of the foremost citizens of his land, and known and acclaimed the world over for a musical genius that created as unconsciously as Mother Nature. He is still a simple, neighborly man, surrounded now by 5 children in the little mining town of Vysoka. He is seated in a parlor with his wife, Anna, who is at work at her embroidery, examining a cable from America.
Impossible.
What is impossible, Anton?
Some American woman, what's her name? Thurber? Madame Jeanette Thurber?
Yes?
With more money than concern for a man who loves his family?
Yes?
She wishes that I go to America.
America.
Yeah, to be the director of the National Conservatory of Music in New York.
America.
Impossible.
Why is it impossible, Anton? Can you not compose there as well as here?
Fifth. I love my family. I do not love this, what's her name, Jeanette Thurber. I love this soccer in my pigeons. I do not love New York, which, who knows, may not have a single pigeon.
It can be an adventure for you, Anton.
If to leave my family is to adventure, I leave adventure to the explorers. America! Whew, impossible. Well, I might possibly consider conducting a few concerts.
What are you talking about, Anton? Conduct a few concerts? Where?
In America, where else? I have another cable from this Madame, what's her name, Thurber. I shall write her. I will consider conducting a few concerts. It's my duty. Then I can return directly home. She is mad.
Who is mad now, Anton?
What is her name? Madame Thurber. She will not hear of my conducting a few concerts. She insists I direct the National Conservatory. I shall write her at once that she is mad. Well, of course, I could take you, Anna, and at least two of the children.
Take us where, Anton?
Oh, with me to America.
But I thought...
She offers 30,000 gulden, this Madame, what's her name?
But you said...
Think of it. I could raise 1,000,000 pigeons for 30,000
But
gulden.
Anton...
It is settled then. We shall go to the New World. It will be a big adventure for us.
Aboard the SS Sala on the high seas bound for America.
Good morning, Herr Doctor. What is your wish for breakfast?
But where are the other passengers? Am I the only one eating this morning?
Ja, Herr Doctor, the roll of the ship. The other passengers are not well.
Such pioneers! Such pioneers! Listen, Anna. Listen, children. This is America. The music of the New World.
Here comes a lady to greet us, Anton.
Oh, it must be that Madame, what's her name? What's her name? Oh, yes, yes.
I'm
Thurber.
Mrs. Thurber. Welcome, Dr. Dvorak and Madame Dvorak. We are delighted to see you.
Thank you, thank you.
We have a big program planned for you. But first there's a delegation of your countrymen waiting below to say hello.
But Czech's here, Anna. A breath of Visoka.
And afterwards we have a dinner planned for you.
Good, good. We're all very hungry.
Oh, splendid, because we've outdone ourselves to make sure your first dinner will be a success. We've sent all the way to Pennsylvania so that we may serve the choicest squabs.
Squabs? What is that, squabs?
Oh, I'm sorry. Pigeons, Dr. Dvorak. Pigeons.
Pigeons? Me eat pigeons? Oh, this is barbarism. Never in my life. Me pigeons. No, never.
Dvorak lost no time in entering upon his duties at the conservatory. Students destined to become famous, like Harry T. Burley, the talented Negro, and Williams Arms Fisher, listened completely enamored of the folksy little man as he held forth on the subject closest to his heart.
I demand from you students 3 new portions of composition each week. Oh, now, do not frown, do not frown. If you cannot do this, you're no composer. Now, each morning, when your ideas are the most fresh, write for 15 minutes. Do not worry about themes and motives. You can work them out later. And do not worry about me. I am very fond of Chopin and Schumann, although I cannot bear them.
Sometimes he's like a comrade. Sometimes he's like a god, they said. But they worked like beavers for their unpredictable master. Meanwhile, Dvorak, who had moved from the fancy hotel the authorities had arranged for him to a simple little apartment, wallowed in the sounds of the new world. He would go for walks with his wife, Anna.
Nice is the grinding umbrella fixing. Nice is the grinding umbrella fixing.
Hear it, Anna? It has a melody.
Yes.
It's amazing. Why, Here there is music everywhere.
Trains still had a fascination for him.
As I was saying, Dr. Dvorak...
If you will excuse me, Madame Thurber.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you have an appointment?
With the locomotive. If I hurry, I can just catch sight of the 1022 passing 155th
But,
Street.
Dr. Dvorak, we were to discuss a symphony you've arrived.
Yes, Dvorak was expected and wanted to write a symphony. But of one thing he was convinced.
It must be an American symphony.
American? What do you mean by that?
The music sprung from the soil of this continent, this great new world, where the millionaire and the baggage porter call each other mister.
Yes, Dvorak was convinced that he would find the inspiration for a symphony here in America. For did he not discover music all about him wherever he turned? One day, after his classroom had emptied, one of his Negro students remained behind, belatedly gathering up his papers and humming and singing to himself as he did.
I looked over Jordan, and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. A band of angels coming after me. Coming for to
you, sir.
me. Yes, Dr. Dvorak?
What is that you're singing?
Well, nothing, sir, nothing at all. Just a song.
What kind of a song?
Well, sir, nothing really. Sort of a spiritual, a religious song. I didn't mean to disturb you, Doctor.
This is a folk song?
Well, sir, I never thought of it that way before, but I guess you could call it a sort of a folk song. It's a song of my people.
Well, sing it.
Oh, I have no voice for singing, Doctor.
Sing it.
Yes, sir. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
Enough. Your name?
Burley, sir. Harry T. Burley.
Oh, yes, of course. Burley, yes. You know more of these songs?
Well, yes, sir.
Good. Tonight you will come to my house. You will sing there for me. Thank you, Mr. Burley. Thank you very much.
That night, at the home of Dvorak...
Anna, this is my pupil, Mr. Harry Burley.
How do you do, Madame Dvorak? It's an honor.
Good evening, young man.
And Mr. Burley, this is another pupil who dropped in here kindly to see me tonight. This is Mr. Fisher. You know Mr. Fisher?
Yes, sure. Hello, Fisher.
Hello, Burley. How are you?
Tonight, Anna, Mr. Fisher, you will listen to American music.
But, Doctor, they're just no-account plantation songs. Most everybody knows them.
Everybody but I. Now, I shall know them, too. Well, there is the piano. Sit.
Well, what would you like to hear, sir?
Oh, everything, anything.
Well, sir, I'll start with this one. It's called Ezekiel Saw the Wheel.
Good. We would see it too, Mr. Burley. Sing.
Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the air. Ezekiel saw the wheel way in the middle of the air. The big wheel run by faith, and the little wheel run by the grace of God. Wheel in a wheel way in the middle of the air.
It's wonderful, Anna, is it not? Here is really the native music of America. And to think the American composers, they are ignoring it. Again, Mr. Burley, please.
Yes, sir. Ezekiel saw the wheel way up in the middle of the air.
You too, Mr. Fisher,
saw
sing.
the wheel way in the middle of the air. The big wheel run by faith, the little wheel run by the grace of God. Wheel in a wheel way in the middle of the air.
It's here. I know it was here, and it is here. The folk music of the people.
But still another form of American music was to leave its mark in the notes of Antonin Dvorak. Perhaps it came about when, from Czechoslovakia to join him in the New World, the rest of the children arrived. Overjoyed to see them, he planned a brief respite from his labors, a journey to Spillville, Iowa, where there was a large colony of Czech Americans, to be amongst old friends. As he was about to board the train,
Goodbye, Dr. Dvorak, and do have a good time. You too, Madame Dvorak. I hope you'll all enjoy Iowa.
Thank you.
And here's something to read on the train if you ever find time for it.
Book? Well, good. What is it?
The poems of Longfellow.
Longfellow, eh? Well, thick book. Can this long man not write more shortly?
Oh. Come, Anton. Children are calling. Goodbye, Mrs.
Bye.
Late that night, after darkness had drawn a curtain over the panorama that whizzed by his train window and the children had gone to sleep, Dvorak lost himself in the magic words of Longfellow and the saga of the American Indian.
What absorbs you so, Anton?
I must read it to you, Anna. It is of an Indian named Hiawatha. Now listen, the very lines themselves seem to sing the tale.
Very well, Anton. I am listening.
By the shores of Gittigumi, by the shining Big Sea water, stood the wigwam of Nokomis, daughter of the moon Nokomis. Dark behind it rose the forest, rose the black and gloomy pine trees.
His interest sparked by the story of Hiawatha, it was further whetted by the rhythm of the Indian chants. At the Chicago Exposition, to which he'd agreed to come on Czechish Day to conduct, he stood fascinated before a tribe of performing Indians.
This too, Anna, primitive as it is, well, this too is American.
In the northeast corner of the state of Iowa, halfway across the continent, Dvorak found a small piece of Bohemia, Spillville. Look at it through the composer's eyes as he wrote of it in a letter to a friend.
Spillville is completely Czech, but it is still very strange here. Few people and so much empty space. You never meet a soul, and you live in woods and meadows where there are many herds of cattle grazing in the wide fields. We truly love it here, living among our own people. And at last, after 8 months, I can hear the birds sing again.
Thoroughly at home in this tidy, prosperous village, Dvorak struggled to transfer to paper the newly inspired music that welled within him, the music born of what he had heard of the Negro plantation songs. The music inspired by the poem Hiawatha, drawn from the primitive chants of the Indians. The wealth of other melodic and rhythmic themes sprung from the native charm of the New World. He worked to cull for all the world to see, and for man forevermore to play, the fruits of his reaction to America, New York, Chicago, Spillville, sprinkled with his longing for his own homeland. And when he had finished, he put a period on this rich and wonderful harvest, as he had on all his other compositions, with 2 reverent words.
Thank God.
Then, and only then, did he turn his face east again.
No more wine. Thank you, Madame Dvorak.
Well, drink. Our work is finished. Now is the time to drink and be merry.
But you've completely upset me with this news, Dr. Dvorak. Why, I read in the papers only yesterday that you were planning to remain here.
Oh, never. I have, thank God, had a good time. I have been in good health, and this wonderful country has been like a friend to me, but...
Yes, but the conservatory is prepared to extend your
I
contract.
must see my Bohemia again.
Madame Dvorak, can't you do something with him?
Anton? No one lives who can do anything with Anton.
But what about your new symphony, Doctor? Aren't you eager to hear it?
Well, I hear it every time I look about me. One does not need an orchestra to hear music. Oh, they have come. Open the door, Anna, please. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Madame de Rosa.
Hello. I hope we're not too early. We were so eager to...
Enter, gentlemen. This is Mrs. Thurber. Mrs. Thurber, these are my pupils, Mr. Burley, Mr. Fisher. Come, gentlemen, to the piano. This time, I play. You know, when I came to this country, they told me there was no American music. They said for music you must look to Europe. I say there is American music. It's in the streets, the country, the heritage. It's in the hearts of the people. Now, you, Mr. Burley, you helped me find it in the plantation songs of your race. And you, Mr. Fisher, you joined us one night in singing that music. I have made all that I have heard these years in this great country the inspiration of my Ninth Symphony, which I call From the New World. And because you've been so kind and helpful to me, before I go, I want you to hear a theme from that symphony. A theme that I think expresses the yearning of your people, Mr. Burley, and the feeling I have myself within me now. Please listen.
Like a song. Cries for words.
Well, if you think so, Mr. Fisher, I hope you will write them someday.
Oh, I will. Yes, I will.
Fine, Anton.
Now, pupils, friends, let no one tell you there is no American music. America is full of melody, if you but recognize it. Song which is as native to you as your unbounded spirit. Well, cease looking to Europe. Look only about you to the folk songs of the people, the 1,000 symphonies that is this great new land. Here and only here will you find the music that is truly worthy of you. And now, as I hope I have said to you in the theme I just played, I am...
Going home, Dr. Dvorak?
Yes, Mr. Fisher. Going home.
Thus today do we fittingly salute Czechoslovakia in gratefulness to its son Antonin Dvorak, who, because he had an ear for American music, opened our eyes to our great melodic heritage, and so helped enrich our hearts and fill our homes with music. To Czechoslovakia, thank you.
You have just heard a special presentation by the Armed Forces Radio Service of Antonin Dvorak, a Czech with an ear for American music. A musician who, through his genius, brought to the American people the beautiful music of our country. We invite you to listen again, for this is the story. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.